Lebanon Health Power.
Hello everyone, hope you are doing well. Welcome to the third episode of the podcast series of the fourth volume of Project Someone's Daughter, initiated by the Rotary Club of University of Sri Jayawardhanapura. Today, we have invited a special individual and a remarkable woman leading by example. Let me welcome Dr. Shamini Perera, Head of the Faculty of Business Studies in Sri Lanka Technological Campus and the Director of Future Holdings International Private Limited. She is an award winner of the Women Leadership Award given by the World Women Leadership Congress Award Ceremony in 2019 and also received the award for the Outstanding Women Performer of the Year 2021 by Women Icon. Dr. Shamini holds a PhD in Business Management and Administration that specializes in tourism research from Management and Science University in Malaysia and a master's degree in Business Administration from Edith Cowan University, Australia. She is a management consultant to both private and public sector, also a corporate trainer and a certified coach and a mentor by International Authority for Professional Coaches and Mentors. So, let us get on with our conversation without a delay. Good evening, Dr. Shamini. How are you these days?
Good evening. Thank you so much, Naudi and the team for inviting me for this wonderful session for a discussion. I'm doing very well and keeping safe. I hope all of you are keeping safe as well.
So, madam, we would love to know, who is Dr. Shamini Perera? How would you describe yourself?
Okay, so that's a wonderful question in a program where you all are focusing under the theme of someone's daughter. So I'm someone's daughter, to name who the someones are very precisely. The daughter of late Mr. Milroy Perera, and my mother is with me, who is Mrs. Rosemary Perera, and whom they have built me to be as Shamini Perera, to be a very independent person. I see myself as a very independent person who would like to explore life in all the opportunities that I could create for myself rather than waiting for the opportunities to reach me, but as a person who can create opportunities for myself and to enjoy my life. And I'm brought up in a very simple family background by my parents, which is actually the backbone of everything that I do. So that is very briefly about who I am.
Thank you, madam. So, every leader has a story behind their achievements. Madam, we would love to know your journey behind your success.
Okay, so let's take a very quick look at my memory lane. So born to a middle class family in Sri Lanka, to Catholic parents, who are actually, I regard even today as my great leaders in my life, that laid a very solid foundation. And then they were, I was privileged enough to receive the education up to my A-levels at Holy Family Convent, Bambala, all thanks to my parents and their effort made to give me that education in a convent as well. So I believe that was for sure another influence that I had to develop the leadership skills, and in an environment where I was given the opportunity to develop the leadership skills apart from the academic and theoretical knowledge. So as a school leaver, then I had the opportunity also to work for the leading mobile telecommunication network in Sri Lanka, which is Dialog Axiata, which all of us know. I worked there for over 9 years. And again, I was lucky enough to meet supervisors, managers, to name a few, like Mr. Farid Kader, Mr. Lasanta Tevaraperuma, who could always encourage their employees, including me, who could always encourage us to look at our future, to look at a future specific career goal and to continuously develop us. So that helped me actually to develop a lot of professional competencies that I knew nothing about the corporate world as I joined as a school laborer. And so I was able to learn a lot through my work experience at Dialogue. And then I moved on to joining my business with my business partner to work as an entrepreneur. While doing so, I also wanted to try out how I would be able to perform in the world of academia with the completion of my higher studies up to the PhD. So all this happened simultaneously. While I worked, I learned, gained my academic qualifications as well. And since I was also a corporate trainer, my passion to develop and support the capacity of the people also drove me to look at how I could engage the academic, the university system, in the higher education system, to share my knowledge, experience as much as I learned from them as well. So opportunity to join Logical campus as the head faculty of business studies, and I performed the role of lead mentoring office as well. So all this has encouraged me to always reach my optimum potential in everything that I wanted to try out in life.
Okay. As we know, you are the head of the Faculty of Business Studies in Sri Lanka Technological Campus and the Director of Future Holdings International Private Limited. Also, you are working as a certified coach and a mentor by the International Authority for Professional Coaching and Mentoring. So we can see that you are playing so many different roles in a single day. How do you manage to balance all those things?
Yes, you're very, very right, Navodi. I have always been a person who has had the enthusiasm to try out different things in life and to explore experiences in life as well. So from my very smaller days, my parents never ever forced me and my brother to be focused on, to be developing ourselves on only just one or two specific things. Very simple advice without forcing us. The very simple advice that I and my brother always received from our parents is that if you do good in life, there will be positive things coming to you. If you do bad in life, there will be bad things. If you do, there will be bad that is coming to you as in consequences. So that was the very simple advice that I always remember that they gave me. So even when it comes to studies, all what they have told us was, if you study well, if you learn well, there will be positive things coming for you, and you face the consequences vice versa. So they never compelled us to be specializing, but encouraged to be always a generalist who can understand what is actually happening in the environment, and also to be multitasking, and to never give up on your hobbies or the things that you like to do, the things that you enjoy to do. Simple things, even like spending time with your friends, traveling, while learning and developing yours. So I guess this background actually helped me to have a balance in life in most of the things that I do. I won't say that, we never had problems. We did have problems. I have faced many challenges in my life as well. But that background that we were brought up had always given us the ability to be multitasking and to develop ourselves, try out new things, and to learn continuously. So to plan in advance, to allocate time according to the priorities of what I like to do, what passionated me, and then to work through a proper career plan. That, of course, I received a lot of guidance, support from my leaders at Dialogue Asiata as well. So yes, as a person, though I handle many things together, I keep the end in mind always as to what I want to achieve and why I want to achieve that. Whether it's an academic qualification, whether it's a career goal that I want to achieve, whether it's about business, or even in my personal life. So it's the same. So I keep the outcome or the end result in my mind, and time matters to me because of that. Time is valuable to me because of that. I don't want to waste time. And I don't want, maybe that is the reason that I don't want people working with me who are also supporting me to waste their time either. Because I understand that the time matters, and it's required to always look at the most efficient ways of doing things. Not easiest, probably easiest as well, but most efficient ways of doing things. So because you don't have unlimited time in your life, the more opportunities that you get, the more possibility that you have to explore and learn as well. So I don't want to wait till someone else does something for me. I am usually a very go-getter type of a person when it comes to work. So I will go to the people that I want to get the work done. I will try to convince them, influence them in all the ethical ways within the given rules and regulations, and try to get the work done, accomplished, rather than waiting till something is offered to me in a platter. So that is how I mainly prioritize my work, give prominence to the work that I do, and manage different roles as well. So I don't hesitate to delegate the work, whether it's in SLTC, whether it's in the business that I work, whether it's in any other consultancy work that I do. I trust my team. I like to empower them because that is how I have learned, especially while working at Dialogue. I had leaders who trusted us, who empowered us, who believed in our capabilities. So I like to do that in return as well. So it makes my life easier. I become only a facilitator, and I work with them and walk with them throughout the journey to accomplish the task. And so it's always a combined effort that we make. So one thing I always put forward is, if time matters to me, if time is important to me, I understand that time is important to everyone else too. So allocating time for myself, for the things that I like to do, hobbies, to enjoying, and then career, and in personal life, everything, I try to strike a balance in all these roles that I perform. Over to you, Navodhi.
Thank you, madam. So my next question is, throughout your journey, have you ever felt like being a woman is a challenge to go forward in the corporate world compared to men?
Yes. So to be really realistic, and in the cultural context that we live in, or depending on the field of work that we do or the area that we live, there could be challenges. I won't say no. Especially being a woman, there can be challenges. A woman is basically expected to play many roles, right? So you all have named your program, as I said at the beginning, as Someone's Daughter. So we start as someone's daughter, we become a friend, we become a sister, we become a girlfriend, we become a wife, we can become a mother, right? A grandmother, we can be a businesswoman, we can be a professional at the same time as well. So when you try to accomplish your dreams as a woman, it may be challenging due to many reasons. First of all, if you lack confidence about yourself, that may be the greatest challenge that you face. And if you lack support from the system, including your family, including your workplace, right, including the culture or the social stigma, sometimes there may be instances where people will try to even tarnish your image, right? So you may get advisors, or they might try to distract you as well, right? There can be different barriers that you might face because you cannot manage all the work on your own at a certain time. So these may be challenges which I have also faced. And but what I have always kept in mind is that now, even up to coming to this level, I have faced many challenges where sometimes you feel that you're very down and you can feel sad, you feel like giving up as well. Yet there is one thing that I always have behind my mind, based on certain situations that I have been through in my own life as well. But I see my mother as one of the most strongest women that I have ever met in my life. So she always used to tell me, have confidence in what you do. There had been many instances, even in my own life, that I have cried. I have felt really down. But the advice, not an advice, but the piece of word that I have got from her is stop crying. You might feel sad, you might feel down, you can put it out, but that doesn't mean that your life ends there, right? So be confident. The moment that you fall, make sure that you stand up on your own feet again. That is what is important. So that's the most important message that I have continuously heard from my mother. And on the other hand, my father, who has always been there for me and who always believed and trusted in me. So always encouraged me that you don't need to depend on anyone. You can take advices, you can listen to someone if you need to speak to, that's all right. Take whatever that is relevant to you. Take whatever that is important to you and leave the rest behind. And simply focus on what you want to be, why you want to be, and how you want to do that. So those are the main two advices that I have received from my parents from my smaller days, and even at every instance that I would have faced challenges as a woman in my life, whether it's career or whether it's personal life as well. So I have always learned to keep my chin up, head straight, because that is what was given as an encouragement to me. So believing in myself, not being overconfident. I'm not saying to be overconfident because that might be a weakness. Take whatever the advices, guidance that are relevant. Don't feel bad to seek for support whenever you want support. But as my parents have always told me, keeping my head straight, keeping my chin up, and moving on in life, finding solutions to the problems has always been my thing. So whether it's in the corporate world, academia today, business, public sector, personal life, I always make it a point to move on. To move on by leaving aside the things that might threaten my peace of mind, but always looking at the positive side of every challenge that I might face and trying to find a solution. Over to you, Navaldi.
As you have mentioned, have you ever faced these kinds of challenges throughout your life in the corporate sector?
Yes, I wouldn't say no. In the corporate sector, to the academia, or wherever, even as an entrepreneur, yes, I have faced challenges. I think challenges are part and parcel of our lives. So it's nothing not there for me. It is there in my life as well, including in my personal life. But as I mentioned before, believing in yourself, having that confidence to face those challenges matters a lot, to take a step forward rather than drowning in those challenges or in the problems. I hope I answered that question now.
Yes, ma'am. So I'm sure as a woman getting exposed to the world a lot, you might have had your fair share of experience. Based on the experience you have had to go forward as an independent woman, are there any changes that you think should be made in the mechanism of the corporate sector?
Yes, but I guess most of the corporates that I have worked with, have made those initiations. I'm happy to say, like, most of the corporate cultures are making these initiations to help the women to be actively participating in the corporate world. So giving that system support, introducing flexible working hours, introducing policies, procedures that understands the women's capability and to give them a helping hand, a supportive hand to perform better is always been considered by the corporate sector in most of the places that I have worked with. So people do talk about equality, but for the business world today, I guess what is important is performing workforce. So whether you are a man or a woman does not matter anymore, as long as you are committed, you are engaged, and you perform. That performance is recognized at least by the leading corporates that have best practices of HR and ethical backgrounds that they operate in. But being a woman or a girl, you may need to have your self-confidence in place. Be focused. There will be challenges that you face. Good. Be focused without getting distracted from those challenges, and have the ability to adapt to find solutions in a given situation. Rather than complaining, rather than depending, be independent and try your best to find solutions, or there can be alternative ways of fulfilling a certain task that you want to do. So we have to be developing that as a skill, as a behavior, as an attitude, if we want to succeed in our life as a woman as well. So it's always a two-way thing. We cannot blame the corporate world, the systems, the mechanisms all the time. There is an effort that we also have to do. At the same time, yes, the corporate sector or the public sector, the organization of policies, practices will also have to support that as well. So it's something that goes hand in hand. But the simple advice again is that what I received from my parents is that never give up, keep moving forward. Over to you now.
What we do know is that a change in a mechanism takes a long time to happen, and waiting until then is a waste of time and talent for sure. In your opinion, if any woman who had to face this kind of problematic situation, how should they overcome those challenges and move forward without waiting for those kinds of changes to happen in the world?
Yes, exactly. So now, whether you are a woman or a man, the choices that you make in your life is in your hand, right? You as an adult, you and I as adults, we can make our choices. We can bring about a change in ourselves, right? We can look at things in a positive way even during the most pathetic, troublesome time periods, because it's all about us. It's in our mind. I'm not saying that the external factors does not affect. It does affect. But if you are focused, if you can take care of your emotions, your feelings, your thoughts, your behavioral pattern, you're halfway throughout that challenge already. So that's very important. Now, this is why I always say you have to always start the change in you. Before trying to change the world, change yourself. So the change begins within yourself. Be direct and raise your voice. Speak up. Share your thoughts. Share your ideas. You don't have to bottle it up just because you're a woman or a girl or a lady. You have the freedom to talk. Bring in your suggestions. If you see something wrong happening, say that it's wrong. But at the same time, come up with the solution as well. As much as you point your fingers, you need to be ready with the solution to overcome that as well. Share your thoughts. Talk to anyone. Give in your suggestions. Volunteer. And that is how you can bring in a change in the mechanism or the system. You can be an eye-opener. If you just keep quiet, you will only know the struggles that you go through, and you are not sharing your expert ideas either, right? So don't feel challenged, don't feel threatened to share your thoughts. Believe that you can do, and you can help others by doing so as well. Especially if you know that you are doing the right thing according to your values and your beliefs, don't be afraid to come up and show the others also your opinion and involve them all in working towards something better. So that is the way that we can change the mechanism or make an effort to make a change in the mechanism. So change starts within us, and then we initiate to the next step. Over to you now.
So my last question to you is, as a woman who has achieved many of your goals successfully, what kind of a message do you want to share with our beloved audience?
Okay, so I still believe that I'm learning because learning never ends. No matter which level you are in your career, in your personal life, every passing second you're learning something new. I think pandemic was one of the greatest examples of ever to remind us that we need to learn every moment to adapt in a very volatile and a very uncertain and in a very complex environment. So being a woman, especially since your theme is about someone's daughter, I would like to say, love yourself. Start by loving yourself. Without you loving yourself, you can't expect others to love you, right? So recognize yourself. Appreciate the good things that you do, the strengths that you have. Accept the weaknesses that you have as well, so that you can work on those weaknesses. It's your life, so make your choices very wisely. Don't put the blame on others. I did this because they told me to do. No, you have a brain of your own. Every one of us are blessed with a brain of. So not let us pull you down. Whatever that is suitable as in advices. If you need support, if you need professional support, please reach out. Talk to your friends. Talk to your counselors. Talk to your coaches. Talk to your mentors. Share your thoughts, talk to your leaders. Take whatever the suitable advices and leave the rest out. Do not hesitate to reach out for support. Always have time out of the 24 hours a day to take care of yourself. Your first care. Your mental health. Allocate a little time for your meditation, for your spiritual work, anything that you would like to do as in your hobbies, maybe singing, dancing. Now I do yoga, I like my social dancing, so I like my sewing. So anything that makes you enjoy your life, and choose a career, choose something that you would like to contribute so that you will learn as well as contribute to the development of the others. Keep focused without getting distracted and reach your goals no matter what the challenges that you will face. So that is my advice to all the girls and ladies. As my father and mother always told me, keep your chin up, keep your head up, and move on in life.
Thank you, ma'am. And now we have reached the end of today's episode. Madam, we thank you for sharing your precious time with us. We had a great time with you, and we hope that all our viewers will be inspired by you. Stay tuned with Someone's Daughter Volume 4 until we see you in the next episode. Have a good day and stay safe.
So thank you so much for inviting me, and I really enjoyed taking part in this session. All the very best for you all in all the good things that you do. Take care and stay safe.
Black men have power.